Warhammer 40K might be one of the coolest hobbies you can start in 2026, but it's also one of the easiest hobbies to start completely wrong if you ain't careful. From the outside, this game looks incredible. Giant armies, insane models, fancy battles, a ton of lore, and enough plastic to keep your hobby desk overwhelmed. But once you actually try to start the hobby, the question changes fast. It goes from what army looks cool to what do I need to buy? How much does that unit cost? Where do I even play this big game at? And why are there so many data sheets, detachments, mission cards, and rule updates, and people yelling at each other online? So today I want to answer this honestly. Is Warhammer 40K still worth starting? My answer is yes, but only if you do not try to start with a 2,000 point gray plastic mountain on your first turn. Right now, there's a big Warhammer hype moment going on. The Armageddon box is kicking off the new edition, and it has Space Marines, Orcs, core rules, enough stuff to get you started in this game. But this is exactly when new people start looking at the hobby. Maybe saw the trailer. Maybe your friends keeps talking about the orcs. Could have walked into a game store and saw a painted army on the table and thought, this game looks pretty sick. But hype is dangerous. Hype makes you buy fast, and Warhammer is not a hobby where you want to sprint to the charge phase without checking the board first. There is a reason people fall in love with this hobby so hard. Before we talk about the scary parts, though, we should be fair about this. There is a reason people fall in love with this hobby so hard. And that is, this game is probably the second or third most popular tabletop game, only losing to chess and D&D. If Warhammer wasn't so expensive, it would be more popular. But then again, being cheap wouldn't allow them to be an $8 billion company. Like, holy blood god, that is insane. A company that mainly makes tabletop games is that expensive? Just mind-blowing right there. Well, lore books, some video games, and they definitely figured out the right business plan to keep the hobby going, even if they are pretty greedy at times. But more money means more other games that they can experiment with. Warhammer is not just a game. That is probably why it's so addictive. You can build models, paint armies, read tons of lore books, make your own terrain, play narrative campaigns. You could film your battle reports if you wanted to. Kit bash till your heart's content, or just collect models because they look cool on your shelf. All right, so the armies, they definitely have real identities. We have the Space Marines. They feel like armored super soldiers. The orcs, you ever played Warcraft? There's your orcs to go with. You have your Tyranid, the giant space bugs with bad intentions trying to take over the galaxy. The ancient Necrods walking down the battlefield in their shiny armor. And that variety matters because not everyone enters Warhammer the same way. Some people want to win games competitively. That is fine. Some people want to paint their armies. Some people want to make stories around their armies. Some people just want to roll buckets of dice with friends and watch that one hero model survive way longer than it took to airbrush that unit. Because that's a huge letdown when you spend hours, maybe even days, painting that amazing model and then it gets tabled turn one before you even get to roll any dice. Come on now. That is the magic of Warhammer. It gives you a lot of ways to enjoy the hobby without forcing you to be just a tournament player or just a painter. But that is also where Warhammer gets dangerous. Because when everything looks cool, your shopping cart starts looking like a 2,000 point army before you even know what objective control does. Another issue. Every box is either the greatest release ever made or proof that Imperium has finally collapsed. You have your local game store, you have painting nights or casual table. Most players are just normal hobby people. They like their armies, they like rolling dice, and a lot of the time they are happy to help someone new if you're honest and say, hey, I'm just learning. And that part makes the hobby great. Finding the right people is more important than finding the perfect army. A casual 500 point game with a good opponent is better than a perfectly optimized list against someone who makes the game feel like a nightmare for you. So yeah, models are cool. The community can be great. The setting pulls you in fast. But then the cash register enters from strategic reserves. The real boss fight is cost and overbuying. Let's be honest here. Warhammer is expensive, but so is model trains. Those hobbies overlap a lot if you look at them close. Then we have Magic the Gathering. That's a whole other beast of its own. And the tricky part is that the army box is not the whole cost. You also need clippers, glue, primer, paints, brushes, a ton of dice, some type of measuring device to take measuring widget, your storage, and eventually terrain if you were playing at home. Side note, on the hobby supplies, Army Painter is a solid place to pick up those supplies. Those clippers are top notch, and holy moly, I'm a huge fan of their paint dropper. Way better than the Citadel or Warhammer Paint Now they call. The dropper bottles are better than the paint pots. Then you start hearing about codex, mission decks, data cards, army rules, new releases, and before long, your small starter project has turned into a supply drop from the Militarum. The biggest beginner mistake is spending money before you know what you actually enjoy doing. Because there are different hobbies inside Warhammer. Warhammer is building, painting is a hobby, playing is a hobby, collecting. That's a huge part of the hobby. Or if you're crafty, you also have making your own terrain is another part of the hobby. You might think you want a massive army, then realize you mostly enjoy painting single models. Or you might think you only care about the lore, then play one game and suddenly you are measuring charges like if your family honor depends on it. That is why jumping straight into a 2,000 point army can be very brutal for you. A 2,000 point army sounds awesome until you have 3 half-built boxes, 5 unpainted squads, 1 vehicle still in the sprue, and a sad little pile of shame judging you. We all know that feeling of having sprues or a mountain of boxes you haven't opened, but that new release box is calling your name. I'm guilty of that because I have models that I need paint. I also have a decent amount of half-built models just waiting there to get finished. That's not even talking about the other tabletop games I try getting to the table, like Marvel Crisis Protocol, Halo Flashpoint. Then there are also the Warhammer games like Age of Sigmar and Kill Team. I do wish more people was into those games. I think those games could be a great option if you don't want 40K. And overwhelming yourself is how the burnout starts and you just stop building and painting. Not because Warhammer is bad, but because you tried to play Apocalypse, and money is only half of it. The other half is trying to learn the game that keeps changing while you're still trying to figure out what your units even do. You know, we have the rules, the meta, and the new player whiplash all hitting you at once. The rules change, they can definitely be exciting if you have that new model and it sucks, but that rule change is going to make it better for you. So a living game can feel fresh. New missions, detachments, balance updates, and army changes can keep people talking. It gives the game movement. And for an experienced player, that can be part of the fun. But for a new player, it can also feel like getting hit with a drop pod full of homework. You start trying to learn movement, your shooting, the charging, covering stratagems, and your data sheets. And then someone online tells you your unit got changed, your points moved, your detachment is bad now. And some model you thought was cool might not even be supported the same way forever. That's a lot of bad, and it happens often. This is why chasing the meta early is such a trap for new players. The meta is what strong players are using right now to win games under the current rules. But if you're brand new buying models only because they are strong this month, that's a very dangerous game to play. By the time you build them and paint them and actually understand how they work, the battlefield might already look different. So my advice is this. Do not start Warhammer trying to outsmart the tournament scene. Start by learning mission play, learn how your army moves, learn the basics. Learn why standing on an objective matters more than deleting one enemy unit and then getting wiped off the board yourself. The strongest army for a beginner is the one you actually build, paint, and play on the table. If the game is expensive, the rules move around, and the internet is constantly arguing, how should a normal person actually start? Do not start with a full 2,000 point army unless you already know you love this hobby. That's not me gatekeeping anything. That is me trying to save you from turning your desk into a plastic landfill that you regret. Start smaller. Kill Team is a great option if you want fewer models and a smaller project. It lets you build a squad, paint a squad, and get games in without needing a giant army. You just have to fight off the Warhammer 40K people because you can use those kill teams in your 40K army. So a lot of people want those models. They can be very hard to get, especially when Games Workshop makes the FOMO and people kick into high gear with the new kill team releases. Combat Patrol can also make a lot of sense if you want a box that is closer to regular 40K. It gives you a contained force and more manageable way to learn how units work together. Best advice here is some combat patrols are great points values and some ain't worth it at all. So just be careful with some of those boxes. A 500 point army is another good path. It's not a full tournament experience, but it teaches you the basics of the game. You can also start with one unit you really love. That sounds almost too basic though, but it works. Buy one box, build it, paint it, and see if you enjoy the process before buying 7 more boxes, convincing yourself it's a long-term investment. Used models can help too. Local groups, eBay, Facebook Marketplace, and trade groups can save you money if you are careful. Just be careful buying from secondhand stores. And yes, rule of cool matters. Pick an army you actually like looking at. Pick models you want to paint. Pick a faction that makes you excited enough to keep going. Pair rule of cool with common sense. Take a deep breath before hitting checkout. If I didn't do that, then I'd definitely be bankrupt. Ask yourself, will I actually build this? Will I even paint this? Will I enjoy how it plays? Or am I buying it because a stranger online told me it was good for the next 5 minutes? That one question can save you a lot of money and time. So, is Warhammer still worth starting? Yes, I think Warhammer 40K is still worth starting, but not if you let the internet convince you that you need everything right this second. Pace yourself. Is it worth starting if you go in with a plan? Start small. Learn the game, one battle round at a time. Pick models you care about and find people who play the kind of Warhammer you actually want to play. It is probably not worth starting if you hate painting, hate changing rules, need every hobby purchase to be cheap. Or you only want to win by copying the strongest tournament list without learning why it works. Warhammer is at its best when you control the pace of the game. Not Games Workshop pace with new boxes or new model releases. Not the meta changes. You get to decide what your hobby looks like. This is a hobby after all. Is Games Workshop your dedicated tabletop game scene? That might be Kill Team. That might be Combat Patrol, Ega Sigmar, Necromunda if you're lucky. Mornheim either. That might be one painted squad. That might be a 500 point army. That might be building terrain and making your table look like something off Play on Tabletop. But on the other hand, there are way more cheaper options out there for miniature gaming. You have OPR, or one-page rules. If you'd like a breakdown on some of these other games, Atomic Mass makes great games as well as Manning. If you would like a breakdown on some of these other games that might be better or not compared to Warhammer 40K, let me know in the comments. This hobby is huge, but your first step does not have to be. So that is my honest answer. Warhammer is expensive, confusing, and sometimes ridiculous, but it is also creative, social, tactical, relaxing at times, and full of moments that make you go, okay, is awesome. So start small, avoid the panic buying, do not chase every update. Find good people to play with, pick models you actually care about, and if this helps, subscribe to the channel. I drop these videos every Friday, and we are building this around helping new players get into the hobby without pretending we have unlimited money, unlimited time, and a spare room full of gray plastic hoard. So be sure to leave a like to support the Blood God and leave a comment to throw the algorithm off and help this mediocre channel grow. Also, check out the description for affiliate links if you like a little discount. It does not cost anything extra to support the channel. And honestly, this hobby is expensive, so use somebody's link, even if it's not mine. In the next video, I'll break down the best ways to start small, or maybe how 3D printing has helped me in the hobby, because I'm not sure, is it more important to buy models or make your own? Let's find out together.